Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the workshop. I'm back from vacation, and so it's time to make another video. Now, in the last one, we talked about rebuilding my flash dryer here, at least rebuilding the stand for it. Now, that got me thinking. I have not talked about building screen printing equipment for a long time, and there's got to be new people starting to get into screen printing, and they want their own screen press. So let's go back and let's talk about some of the basic presses that I built first getting into this, because I've built a lot of different presses, and we'll go all the way through some of the newer ones. But we're not going to do it live in the workshop. We're going to dive into the SketchUp program and work from inside the computer. So I'm going to go boot it up. You guys stand by, and we'll be in a virtual world in any second now. Hang on. Okay, welcome to my virtual world. This is actually SketchUp, and this is my plan for the most basic press that I've ever built. As a matter of fact, this is the basis for every tabletop press I built from the very start. Of course, none of these exist anymore because, of course, I've moved on from them, but the plans are still here and available on my website. Anyway, this guy, it is a step up, and it's just a step up from laying a shirt on top of your dining room table, setting a screen on top, and pulling ink through the screen. The only advantage is this gives you a place to actually front load the t-shirt. So you'll put the t-shirt onto the platen here. You can figure out where exactly the screen should be placed by all the markings on the platen, and you can pull your print. And if you can put the screen back down exactly where you had it before, if you didn't get a perfect pull the first time, you can take a second shot. But this is not the most reliable item in the world. So let's do an addition to it, and let's pull up the drop screen single color press. Now on this one, you have a pivot arm with a piece of angle iron bolted onto the pivot arm, to which you clamp your screen. So you can drop the screen down, pull your ink through, lift the screen up. If you didn't get a perfect print, you just drop your screen right back down, and since it's locked into place, and your shirt will have a little bit of, or your platen will have some adhesive on it holding the shirt in place, everything will be exactly where it ought to be when you go for a second stroke. But this is only good for a single color. You're not going to do multiple colors off of this press. However, you should realize that this is the actual plan that you'll find on the website. So I've given you all the measurements on how to build everything, even tell you what size holes to drill, and how big to make your platen. Okay, so we've got the press here. Let's go the next step up where you can do multiple colors. Well, let's move back to my basic here and include a screen. Now this screen has got some tuners on it. And I'm going to get rid of the press and the platen so I can show you the bottom of the screen with these tuners. Now this works best with a wooden screen because these tuners are screwed into the frame of the screen. And what we have here, let me explode the connection here. What we have here is a block of wood with a just smaller than 1/4 inch hole drilled through it, and then you put a 1/4 inch carriage bolt through it. So that provides some tension on the carriage bolt so it can't just fall in and out or unscrew easily. And these carriage bolts pinch the frame or pinch the platen. So you got 2 on the sides so you can maneuver it side to side. You've got 2 on the end so you can maneuver it in and out, so you can line up multiple colors on your platen. So each screen has its own color, therefore you got to register them to a specific point on the platen. Well, these will you can tune these guys up to hold each screen exactly where you need it to be. And then once you get the screen in place, you screw this guy in to lock the screen onto the platen while you're printing. This is okay. I mean, it worked for me for a little bit. If this is as far as you want to go, it's easy to build. Just like I said, it works best with wooden screens. Now I'm going to put the press back in. And you can see that I've also included a platen here. Let me rotate it a little bit. A platen here that you can do kids' shirts and sleeves and legs, sweatpants, that sort of thing on. Once again, if I can make this thing zoom out the way I want it to, this is the complete plan. So you've got the base measurements, the platen measurements, and all the screen measurements for the tuners, the placement on the screen, etc. Once again, the size of the bolts. In this case, it's quarter inch bolts, 20 turns per inch by 3 inches. So not a lot more to say about this. It's a complete plan available on the website. You're going to hear that repeated throughout this whole video. All right. So this is okay, but we can do better. And by better, we can step up by going to a press that is inspired by a line table. Let me show you what a line table looks like. This is kind of a typical line press. This one only has 8 platens. I've seen a bigger. But the important thing is how we register screens on a line press. And what we can see here is instead of going from the bottom of the screen, we're going through the end of the screen. In this case, we've got 2 carriage bolts. In this case, they're 1/4 inch carriage bolts going through the screen, and they make contact with this central bar on the press. Then each position has got this X registration post. So the screen, it's got 2 Y direction adjustments, so you can go in and out this way, or if you got to cant it a little bit, you just, one goes in, one goes out. You get the idea. And then you've got an X adjustment, which moves in the side-to-side direction. So you set up each screen on the platen, registered to a specific location, and then you can print as many colors as you have screens. And then if the printer on a line table, he would print one shirt, then move to the next one, print it, then move to the next one, and then the next screen, he would bring the next screen up and print, etc., etc., etc. So what I did is I carried this design onto a tabletop press. So here's the adaptation from the line table to a tabletop press. You can see we're still using the same registration bolts. So two in the Y, 1 in the X. We still have a central registration post. I've also added a registration cap. Now, what that registration cap does for us is, I'm going to go ahead and select the screen and the cap here, is if we want to place a design closer to the center of the screen, maybe we don't like printing next to the edge, or it just works better in the center of the screen, but we want to work on the left side of the t-shirt, well, we just move the whole thing over, registered and all. And if you want to if I want to admit something, I'm clumsy. When you're printing with this type of design, you actually have to hold the screen up against the posts. You can't just lay it there and leave it because, of course, there's nothing to hold it there. So you've got to put some pressure on there. It's not all that difficult to do, but once again, I'm a klutz. So what I've done on mine is I've added rare earth magnets to each Y position and the X position. So, and I get those rare earth magnets out of hard drives, dead hard drives. But you can also buy them online. It's not a big deal to get molybdendium rare earth magnets. um, and they will hold fast. So you can put that screen down, pop it into place, and be confident that it's not going to pull away from your registration cap until you want it to. There's something else I don't like about these tabletop presses, and that is the tabletop. Um, Anything that gets on the tabletop is also going to get onto your shirt. Now the line table, let's go back to the line table if I can find it. The line table, the platen hangs out over air. So your shirts hang down. Just like the modern rotary presses and everything else that the professionals use these days, they don't drag a shirt on a tabletop. The shirt hangs in air because in the air, you're not going to get anything extra on the shirt. So I like this idea and I like the registration. So I came up with, give me just a second to get it open. I came up with a table mounted press that uses the line table registration. It also uses the rare earth magnets I was talking about. But the platen arm hangs out over space. So these little wings here allow you to clamp it down to the table. There's one on each side, so you can clamp it to the edge of a table or a workbench or whatever you're using, and everything hangs out over space. Of course, once again, we have plans for this. So there's an exploded view. There's the measurements for all the base components, the measurements for the platen and the platen clamp, and of course for the registration cap. Okay, and this is the wooden version. I call this the T-press because, let me get the platen, when it was hanging on my wall and I looked at it, it was shaped like a T. I didn't even think about the fact that I was printing T-shirts with it when I named it. So this is the wooden version. Once again, everything on here, I'm going to remove again. Let's go back to the exploded view. Everything here can be done with a handsaw or a circular saw or a jigsaw. It is the only real critical part is that you get the arm perpendicular to the faces and to the top. So everything registers up, and the stage registers, you make adjustments. Other than that, as long as you can get a nice straight cut, you can build this. And once again, free plans, you just got to download them. All these plans you can open in SketchUp for free online. SketchUp's got a SketchUp Make online that you can use for free. So if you absolutely do not want to do that, you can contact me and I will email you PDFs. But I'm going to leave these as SketchUp for the moment. All right, so this is the wooden version. I also have a metal version. So this is everything. There's no platen on this one that I'm showing here. But the plan is basically the same. You've got a platen arm, someplace to clamp it to the table, then something to hold the registration cap, and then a registration cap that is still using rare earth magnets. And of course, there is a platen, and if I'm going to use a metal press, I'm going to make a metal screen clamp. So this is what we have here. and all the measurements you would need to build one. So this is where we're at the moment as far as individual presses. Now let's take a look at the rotary press. Okay, what we have here is a view, a SketchUp view of my rotary table. I'm going to get rid of a couple things here. First, I'm going to get rid of the screen holder. There we go. Then I'm going to get rid of the T-presses. As you see, this is just 3 T-presses bolted to a 24-inch rotary table. Now, on this, I'm going to explode the component here so I can get rid of that. At the heart of this is an 8-inch bar stool swivel. I do not recommend using an 8-inch bar stool swivel. There are Lazy Susan components now, Lazy Susan swivels, I guess we'll say, that are hollow in the middle, which will allow you to bolt on. You cut a bigger hole on the top table, and you can put a floor flange in the middle of the Lazy Susan that allows you to put up your screen holder, which is my screen holder is nothing more than a 3/4 inch water pipe with my screen holder attachments, which there's plans on the website for it, and a video on how to build it. And what that will allow is you to spin the top table around without all of your screens spinning with it. You want the screens to spin independently, but you don't want them also to turn when you turn the table. So when you're buying a swivel, buy one that has a hollow center, not one like I did that for a bar stool. What I was forced to do is I was forced to weld a big washer onto the top flange that does not spin on the swivel, and then on top of that, I had to weld a pipe coupler. And then I had to add support. So the table went on, and then I had to add 2 supports to take any wobble out of the central post of the screen holder. So I'll put all my T-presses back in place and put my screen holder back up in place. So these guys, and I will explode these guys. The guy I've highlighted here, he's a screen holder. Like I said, there's a plan for the screen holder on the website, and there's another video on exactly how to build it and how to make sure that you get all the right angles and everybody stays the same. That post, that's nothing but a piece of 3/4 water gas pipe. So galvanized pipe or black pipe, it doesn't matter. And then your screens are the same screens that I've been showing throughout the video here. They are aluminum, not wood. You can use wood screens, but they tend to wear out a lot faster than the aluminum ones. Anyway, so, and then the modular nature of this rotary press allows you to break it down and use your workshop for other things. That is the attraction for me. Why do I have three flattens instead of 4 or 6? I just don't have the room for swinging that much material around inside the workshop. I've got to have room for all the other tools for all the other projects that I do. So 3 was a good number. I also have triple screen holders instead of just doubles. And yeah, I don't think you actually need a plan for this because it's very straightforward on how to build this stuff. I just thought I would show you that there is the conceptual drawing that I did before I actually built one. All right, so that about does it for this video. You see the new plans. I have other plans. I've got older ones that are up on the website now. These are the new plans that are going to be going up before the end of October 2023. And yeah, you're welcome to download and build everything. If you shoot a video on what you built, that is excellent. If you improve on what I've done, that's even better. Remember, this is a project. This is not life or death. And I am more than happy to see improvements to anything I've done because my basics came from somebody else too. So don't be afraid to show off. Shoot a video. Tell me what you've done better. All right. So until I see you next time, y'all keep up the good fight, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.